Can you imagine waking up one day to discover that the system has declared you dead? Your bank account's frozen, monthly Social Security benefits suddenly gone, medical benefits suspended, while you're still very much alive and going about your normal day. This scenario, which seems straight out of science fiction, is actually happening in America as a massive record cleanup operation takes place within the Social Security system. Over 11 million records have been reviewed, and many innocent citizens have suddenly found themselves in financial crisis after a single incorrect notification. But behind the noisy statistics, controversial statements, and seemingly shocking data, what's the truth? And more importantly, in a system facing unprecedented pressure, how can you protect your own interests? Let's explore these questions in today's video. A massive record cleanup is underway. In recent days, a shocking event has rocked the community of Social Security beneficiaries in America. A large-scale record review campaign conducted by the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, has resulted in over 11 million records of individuals recorded as being over 120 years old being marked as deceased. This move, though introduced as an effort to clean up data and prevent fraud, quickly created widespread unintended consequences. Immediately after the updated information was implemented, thousands of Americans, mostly elderly people who depend entirely on monthly benefits, suddenly had their Social Security payments stopped. Many discovered their bank accounts were blocked, preventing access to basic financial services, and even had essential benefits like health insurance temporarily suspended. For many of these individuals, Social Security payments aren't just a source of income, but a lifeline for maintaining daily life, from buying food and paying utility bills to covering monthly medication costs. When this money stream was suddenly cut off without warning, fear quickly spread. Beyond mere financial inconvenience, feelings of confusion and damaged trust in the management system became even more serious for those in their most vulnerable years. In this context, the general psychology of viewers, especially those receiving benefits or who have loved ones dependent on Social Security, can't help but be swept into a state of shock and extreme anxiety. The haunting question now isn't just, "Why did this happen?" but, "Could I be the system's next falsely declared dead person?" The uncertainty, combined with anxiety about survival when income is interrupted, has created an undercurrent of worry in the community, a feeling anyone who has ever lived on a fixed income can easily empathize with. The real crisis. Heartbreaking stories. The real crisis began to emerge clearly as real-life stories were shared, reflecting the profound impact the record cleanup had caused. Many citizens, accustomed to stable lives thanks to monthly Social Security benefits, now found themselves holding identity documents, personally visiting SSA offices to prove an apparently obvious fact, that they were still alive. The image of elderly people, disabled individuals, or those in difficult circumstances standing in line, waiting with hopes of restoring their benefits, has left many witnesses heartbroken. Among them, the case of Richard Van Meter stands as a clear example of unintended consequences. After just one incorrect notification, his SSA payments were completely stopped, his bank account frozen, and his access to Medicare, one of the most important medical safety nets in old age, was cut off. For an individual living almost entirely on these benefits, such interruptions don't just cause financial inconvenience, but push them into health risks and psychological crisis. More concerning is that Van Meter is not an isolated case. With over 70 million Americans depending on Social Security to cover their living expenses, even a small error in the system can lead to major economic and life consequences. Those in the most vulnerable circumstances, retirees, disabled people, families living on monthly benefits, are the first and hardest hit. In that moment, the common emotion of many following the situation wasn't simply shock. A quiet anger, mixed with insecurity, had risen. Empathizing with those struggling against sudden interruption, viewers began to feel more clearly the fragility of the very system that millions of American families place their trust in every day. The Social Security Data Review Campaign and issues that need clarification. As real-life stories began to attract widespread attention, many sought answers to a seemingly simple question: how could thousands of living people be marked as deceased? The root of this crisis stems from controversial claims made recently. One prominent claim came from Elon Musk and the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, suggesting that millions of people over 100 years old continue to receive Social Security benefits, a number that immediately raised suspicions and concerns among the public. However, according to official explanations from the Social Security Administration, SSA, the issue isn't that these individuals are actually receiving money. Instead, the existence of records of people over 100 years old in the system primarily reflects technical characteristics of data storage, where many cases without recorded death dates are retained for verification, not for continued benefit payments. Having a name in the database doesn't mean receiving any payment. This is an important distinction, but one easily misunderstood, especially in the context of large numbers and concerns about fraud attracting strong attention. Analysis experts have pointed out that reviewing records to ensure accuracy is necessary in any large data system. However, the speed and manner in which it was conducted too quickly, especially when applied to millions of people, made the risk of errors significant. Mass cleaning without careful review of each specific case not only affects data integrity, but, more importantly, directly impacts the lives of citizens depending on this system. As conflicting information continued to spread, the general psychology of many wasn't anger at a specific individual or agency, but an increasingly urgent need to understand the truth. When daily livelihoods can be affected by technical error, viewers want greater transparency, more rigorous control processes, and above all, assurance that their basic rights won't be placed in jeopardy just because of issues in how the system operates. The emotion now is a desire to know everything clearly, to be confident that what they've relied on for many years is still functioning properly. Pressure weighing on SSA, staff cuts, system overload. While the debate about record review continues, another reality has become clear. The Social Security Administration, SSA, itself faces increasing internal pressures. According to recent reports, SSA staffing has decreased significantly, from about 57,000 people to nearly 50,000 in a short period. This means the same workload, even heavier than before when millions of records need review, falls on an increasingly shrinking workforce. The inevitable consequence is that many SSA employees must work in prolonged overload conditions, with workdays that can extend to 12 hours. At local offices directly receiving citizens affected by incorrect data updates, extended waiting times have become unavoidable. With limited resources, restoring benefits to those falsely declared deceased cannot happen as quickly as expected, creating additional psychological pressure for both citizens and staff working to resolve issues. For affected individuals, each day of waiting isn't simply a delay. It could mean a day without medication, without paying utility bills, or without essential food. These small things, when accumulated in circumstances of lost benefits, easily become serious personal financial crises. And while remaining SSA staff still try to resolve cases one by one, the explosion in the number of issues needing attention has pushed response capabilities to their limits. In this context, viewers following this story can't help but feel a quiet heaviness. Not only are citizens struggling with consequences from errors, but Social Security employees themselves, those still quietly working within the system, are under unprecedented pressure. The common psychology now isn't seeking someone to blame, but recognizing that a support system for over 70 million Americans is struggling to operate under conditions more difficult than ever before. Pete Buttigieg's explanation video on Social Security posted online. Amid waves of debate and the prevailing sense of insecurity, an interview video with former Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg suddenly attracted strong attention on social media. During his appearance on the Flagrant podcast, Buttigieg provided detailed explanations to clarify misunderstandings surrounding Social Security data status and controversial claims about deceased individuals continuing to receive benefits. Within just one day, the video attracted over 2 million views on Platform X, showing the public's special level of interest in this issue. During the conversation, Buttigieg emphasized the important difference between an individual's name appearing in the database and that person actually receiving Social Security payments. He explained that, in the system's operation process, some individuals, especially long-lived ones, still exist in records simply because there's no official confirmation of death dates, not because they're continuing to receive money. According to him, having a name in the database doesn't equate to fraud or improper payments. Buttigieg also pointed out that large numbers cited out of context can easily cause public misunderstanding, especially when complex truths are simplified into shocking statements. Buttigieg's appearance at this time has somewhat helped calm the rising wave of concern. For many viewers, hearing a clear, systematic explanation from a figure who participated in government administration brings a sense of reassurance. Although deficiencies in the Social Security system still can't be completely resolved immediately. While official information from SSA also works to provide more data to make the issue transparent, this video has served as an important psychological anchor, helping the public understand that reality has many more complex layers than what's being spread on social media. At this point, people's needs don't stop at finding a specific answer. What they need is consistency in information, authenticity in data, and, most importantly, confidence that what operates behind the Social Security system, despite certain shortcomings, still aims to protect the basic rights of millions of Americans, rather than simply being a political debate. The general psychology now remains cautious but somewhat calmer as explanatory voices begin to appear to clarify the truth. This crisis, though originating from technical errors and data processes, has left a lesson much larger than that for all of us. When trust in basic systems like Social Security is challenged, it not only reflects areas needing improvement from within the machinery, but also shows the importance of each individual being more proactive in protecting their own interests. Transparency and accurate information cannot come from just one side. Now, as light has somewhat illuminated the misunderstandings and what's really happening, what each person can do is continue to closely follow official announcements from SSA, proactively update personal records, and not hesitate to speak up if they see signs their benefits are being affected. Small actions, from regularly checking information to maintaining contact with authorities when necessary, are the most practical ways for each person to protect themselves and help make the system more robust. Perhaps the most important lesson is that proactivity is no longer an option, but has become an essential part of modern life. When operating systems face unprecedented pressure, each person needs to be more aware of their role in maintaining safety and stability for themselves and for the community. Stay alert, demand transparency, and act promptly. That's how we can overcome today's instabilities together and build a more secure future for tomorrow. We'll continue to update you on the latest developments regarding Social Security and changes that might directly affect you and your family. If you want to ensure you don't miss any important information, follow our channel and watch our next video. Thank you for joining us, and remember, being proactive today can make a very big difference for tomorrow.